I'm Jackie.
I'm Kyle, and we have
Selective attention. We love Doug Jones.
You probably do too. With his unique frame and his talents as a mime and contortionist, he's created some easily identifiable and iconic characters.
Yes, but he's also slipped under the radar quite a few times, and it isn't until like the second or third viewing that we're like, wait, is that humanoid kangaroo Doug Jones?
Is that ice cream man Doug Jones?
Is that clown Doug Jones?
With over 170 acting credits to his name, Doug Jones never fails to surprise us when he pops up in the middle of a film or a television show unexpectedly, shocking and delighting us as we audibly ask, is that Doug Jones?
So Doug Jones went to Ball State University where he studied to be a mime. He liked being in front of the camera. He was really, really tall, skinny, and angular, and he still is to this day.
That didn't change.
That has not changed. Moved over to LA, and he basically would take any job he could. He even said in an interview if it paid, he'd do it. But his big kind of thing came when he did a McDonald's commercial with this big like half moon costume on where he was playing the piano and dancing. And
I remember that one. That was Doug Jones?
That was Doug Jones. He got this reputation as being the tall, skinny guy who could wear a costume, wear a lot of makeup, and not complain. And that's how he started getting cast in a lot of films and TV series.
What we wanted to do was pick two performances from Doug Jones apiece that had us do double takes, that made us really go, oh, there is. And
the most.
But before we do that, we would be somewhat remiss if we didn't present our honorable mentions. And hopefully there's one or two performances in here that make some of you go, oh!
Wait, that was Doug Jones?
What do you mean, no candy?
Hi, I am Pencilhead.
You buck-toothed pop right firefly from hell!
My first selection is Augustus Margery from Adaptation. I used to use Charlie Kaufman / Doug Jones, Spike Jones. Too many Joneses. I used to use Charlie Kaufman / Spike Jones Adaptation as an example in my screenwriting class of both voiceover and nonlinear storytelling devices. And if you know the film, you'll understand why that is hilarious. But the VCR wasn't working properly, so I had to fast forward through the entire thing.
VCR?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. This
Back
school.
when I was teaching screenwriting in 1982.
The resources at this school were terrible. No, it was actually a DVD player, which isn't that much better.
It's better.
The DVD player wasn't working, so I had to fast forward very slowly from the beginning of Adaptation to get to the scene. And while I was fast forwarding it, I saw this spindly figure stumbling through the forest with big buggy eyes, and moments later they get bludgeoned to death. Hunting orchids is
dangerous business.
It's rough stuff.
Well, and that's why this one is so interesting too, because he's not wearing any creature. He's not a creature. He's not anything. He's literally himself.
Sure.
You don't see his face actually that often.
Right.
This is one of those moments where actually seeing his face is less recognizable than just the physicality.
Sometimes him as a creature is easier to identify than him as a person.
Yeah.
So I think that's why this one for me is particularly special.
My first selection is Walter Lambert in 2011's Absentia, directed by Mike Flanagan. I chose this because just like Kyle's choice for Adaptation, Doug Jones is without any makeup or costume or creature, and he's in it for a very, very short amount of time. He basically plays a missing man whom one of the main characters sees kind of just laying in a tunnel, and Doug Jones, or Walter, is very surprised to even be seen. But the reason I find this so fascinating is because he has a tendency to get directors fascinated with him, and they kind of latch on to him and continue to employ him in all the films they do later. And Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite directors, and so I'm now looking in every single one of his later films for him. For instance, he's in a later film, I can never pronounce Ouija. Is that right?
Ouija.
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 Listen very carefully. Ouija.
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 Ouija, Origin of Evil, where he plays the ghoul Marcus that overtakes young Doris. So this is one of those roles that I would never have expected to see him in, but now that I do, I'm consistently looking for him in future Mike Flanagan movies.
My second selection is gonna have to be something newer. Specifically, Doug Jones' performance as Baron Afranas in the television series What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows quickly became one of our favorite television series, at least, as far as comedies are concerned. It hooked us within the first couple episodes, and then it just kept getting better. I think when it got to Doug Jones's character, it was like, all right, I'm in for life. Like, they could do 12 seasons of this thing, and I'm gonna keep coming back.
Wait. Oh. No, the sunlight. I'm so scared.
No, bad on.
Wait.
No.
Look here.
No, go easy. It's dangerous, man. He's being an idiot.
The thing that I really like about Baron Afranas and Doug Jones' performance in that role is he's built a full, unique, well-rounded character in Baron Afranas. He's one of the highlights of the first season for me. The moment where spoilers, but like there's a moment where he eats pizza.
I'm having pizza pie.
And there's I don't want to spoil it for people because it's that funny.
It's funny. Just watch it. It's really interesting in this one because this is all Doug Jones. It is his physicality, it's his acting, it's his comedic timing, it's his voice.
This is on where the love runs high.
Baron. In the spirit of my first selection, my second selection is Long John 2, or one of the Judas Bugs from Mimic in 1997. I chose this because it is the first time that Guillermo del Toro worked with Doug Jones. It's almost extremely happenstance. Doug Jones was brought in for reshoots.
Oh,
He
no
wasn't.
way.
Yeah,
like
he-
after production.
After
actually
production,
wrapped.
he
Wow.
wasn't even cast as the actual, or not actual, but one of the main Judas Bugs. But he was brought in for reshoots, and he started talking to Del Toro at the table, and they just became like kindred spirits, and he brought him on for an additional 2 days of reshoots. There's actually a quote from Doug Jones about this meeting, and where he says, he remembered me 5 years later. We did the first Hellboy movie where I played Abe Sapien, a supporting character, but we bonded more during that film and had established a nonverbal dialogue between the two of us. Very little has to be said when he's directing me. That is when he quickly became my favorite director. He is someone who understands all his actors and knows what buttons to push. I just find that their connection and the stuff they do together is just one of my favorite aspects of filmmaking.
Their relationship, starting with Mimic and then growing with the Hellboy series and Pan's Labyrinth, where he played the Fawn and the Pale Man, and then Shape of Water.
Won an award.
They make such beautiful art together, and it's something that I always look forward to when I watch a Del Toro film. Is if Doug Jones is a part of it, I know I'm going to fall in love with that character. The physicality, the heart, everything that Doug brings to that performance is something that I know that I'm going to enjoy.
Definitely. We love Doug Jones.
We love it, Doug Jones. Those are some of our favorite Is That Doug Jones moments.
We would love to know what Doug Jones' performance surprised you. What are your favorites? Leave the comments for us. We'd love to talk about this.
Yeah.
He is in so many things.
170 titles to his name.
We've definitely missed some.
If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, even though we don't post very often. If we get more followers, maybe we'll Maybe we'll actually like do social media
It's all
better.
up to you.
Yeah, don't make this our responsibility.
We don't want to do anything unless we have to.
Oh crap. Okay. Bye. The end?
Toodles.
I think that's it. Yeah, the end.